So it is now the 6th of May. We've had one full week of demolition, 5 business days. Standing in the bottom of the stairwell. So we've removed the paneling in here. All the insulation on the outside wall at least. So they're not quite done with demolition now, but they're getting there. So all of the ceiling is removed, all of the exterior wall, paneling, insulation, etc. has been removed. These studs have uncountable nails, finite but uncountable. These held on blackboard. It's fibrous insulating backing board over everything, and then there are nails such as this small head, multiple sets that were used for the 2 layers of paneling. You can see staples in there as well for some of the insulation. So they had stock in a fastener company of some sort. There's also staples in the floor. You see those little blobs. That's for the padding for the carpet. So all that needs to come up. Saved a few ceiling panels for downstairs. We have iris in bloom. Got some pretty iris. Finally got this cleaned out. Had a struggle with the paneling because it had framing put in over the paneling. This plank was used to between ladders to access the hallway or the stairway. The big challenge at the moment is the kitchen floor. The tiles we put down, they said, adhered nicely but came up easily. But the subfloor, the Luan subfloor, not only was stapled down or tacked down, but it was glued down with a mastic of some sort. And if you can tell from the texture of it, it just shatters. Luan is not a very strong wood. It's kind of soft and a good underlayment. But every time they'd try to scrape some of it up, they'd get maybe an inch strip by 2 or 3 inches long. It would shatter and they'd have to start over. So they're trying to figure out if there's a better tool to use. They've been using pry bars and hammers in the claw part to try to get it up. Can't share the entire vocabulary of their description of the situation though. They were not happy campers yesterday as they were trying to finish this up before they left. I told them it was nice to have something that would help them appreciate the weekend. The other major event of yesterday, Friday, was the structural engineer came by. And the question is, vaulting the ceiling, what about all these cross pieces? The diagonal straps here that, in the engineer's words, are designed to keep the house from racking, which is the torque where the thing starts to twist out of square. And his description was, if you have a shoebox with the lid on, it's reasonably strong. If you remove the lid, then it loses all of its structural integrity. And so these things try to hold it together, and that's also true of these approximately 6-inch wide steel straps that go wall to wall. They are designed to keep the wall from bulging outward. So those straps combined with the roof panels make a solid triangle. That in fact holds up this center wall. That center wall is not load bearing, even though it's got these little leveling vertical supports in there. it's not load bearing at all. All the load is those straps and the roof panels. So the suggested solution. First of all, these are 16-inch wide roof panels. So there will be 2x6s running along those seams from the outside wall all the way along that up to the center ridge. So what Ted's going to do is build a new wall above that existing wall, just a little stub wall there that will then make that a load-bearing wall. So it will go up against the ridge and down to the top of this wall. Once that's a load-bearing wall, then you can remove most of these cross straps. For temporary support, these end walls and side walls, they'll put 2x4s diagonally as a temporary bracing, as much of that as they think they need, to make sure that if the wind blows that the house doesn't start wiggling out of shape. So build a load-bearing wall, put the diagonal cross bracing in, remove the straps, remove all of them. So this strong structural beam in the center that we were afraid we were going to have faux beams built around, that will also be removed. The final component is these 2x6s that run from the outside wall up to the ridge will have spray foam injected, so it'll be 5.5-inch thick spray foam leveled out so that it's smooth on the bottom surface. And the new wrinkle from the structural engineer is then we will put 7/16 OSB sheathing across there so that it will keep the roof from becoming a rhombus. He's saying in effect what you're doing is you're building the roof upside down. Typical roof, you have wood rafters, then you put the sheathing on top of that, and then the roofing on top of that. Well, here we have the metal, put the rafters under it, put the sheathing under that, and then wallboard below that. So Ted has to revise his numbers quite a bit. We haven't heard what the dollar line is going to be on that, but I told him it was worth another $10 to us to get rid of all these ceiling beams. So we'll have a completely vaulted ceiling, end to end. Then we'll have the peninsula cabinets hanging in the middle there, on one edge of the kitchen, and we think it'll work. So that's the update as of May 6th. I like it, whether Ted and Randy, the contractor helper, like it or not. It's going to end up looking pretty good, I think.